So tell us about your operation today, what aircraft you're using and what system that you're using. And what would a typical operation be, let's say?
We use a modified T-Rex, which is a, I think, Taiwan-based company, and we have modified it extensively to support the loads and to give us a really robust system that we can depend on. We have 3 ships that are almost identical to each other, utilizing similar electronics, similar blades, motors, etc. We generally use that ship for our primary purpose of doing aerial view studies at different times of day.
Excellent. And what would a normal operation evolution be? What kind of prep time, showing up to the site? How long would it take you to assemble your gear? What is the process?
We normally are out doing test shots in advance of being on site. So when we show up on site, we're ready to shoot usually within 5 to 6 minutes. We set up the camera onto the platform. We do a GPS connective test. We check all our systems, make sure everything is tight and correct. And the camera is already generally mounted on the platform. We utilize a separate camera for doing exposure and other checks. And we basically lift off and do anywhere from 4 to 6 minute flight, covering multiple levels, potentially a second flight if we have a lot of heights to do. And it's all straight up and straight down over the property.
And what kind of camera system are you using now?
Canon 5DS cameras with 15mm fisheyes or 20 or 24mm lenses, depending on the project and the needs.
How about your GPS system, and are you using autopilot at all?
We do freeze into a GPS hold mode when possible, but that's not always possible when we're in spaces where there's a number of buildings around and we're not able to connect with all the GPS satellites necessary. So we do still shoot manual at times.
And if you're working around other large buildings, you're also talking about, in a windy environment, you're talking about vortices and dirty air coming off those large high-rises and messing up not only your aircraft, but your shot as well.
That is true, and luckily these days we're able to check the files when it comes down. Back in the film days, we were hoping that our images would turn out because we're using rotating slit scan cameras at the time with film that was constantly giving us problems. But now we're able to check those things out. We can usually ascertain in an area by checking radio frequencies and monitoring the wind, whether it's safe enough or not to fly. And sometimes we deem it not, and we have to wait for another day.